What is up, Internet? I am Taylor, and this is the Unboxing Match. It's a show where myself and a guest, or a guest and myself, English is hard, people. English is hard. We're basically, we unbox stuff, we compare things, we talk about books, we talk about life. Regardless of what one of the people in the audience, Mr. White Shadow Chip Gettler, says, it is not a competition, although he won. But it's not a competition. It's just getting to know the fellow comic book community and like having fun with it and like trying to do a fun thing with mystery boxes that's a little bit spin on things, where you give away books you may not love or you not collect, and like give them to people that will love them and collect them, and vice versa. And today's guest is the one, the only, the creator of the comic book Oscars, Mr. Brian LCS. And I'll bring him on board now, and we can talk. And everybody in the chat, you all get to yell at him as far as like why you were not nominated last year or this year or any year. Anyways, welcome, Brian. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great.
Don't start the rumor that it's the Oscars. I don't want that. I don't want that pressure.
I mean, you're the only comic book award YouTube show I know of, right?
Yeah, I guess, yes.
So that you're the Oscars, man. I'm sorry, that's what it is. Like, no, it's what I didn't even know the name of the award. Sorry, it's a comic community
Comic Book Community Awards.
Okay, see the CCA, people, the CCA. I want to say hi to the chat real quick, and then we can just dive on into all this fun. Let's Crucius, hello as always, sir. White Shadow, we're going. We are going. Rob, it is a Taylor, and thank you for getting my name right. Actual Dracula, thank you so much for joining, Adrian. He's next week's guest. You're a week early, sir, but I like it. And yeah, the way this kind of works is like I usually I'll have you open them first, and I'll grill you with intense questions as we go, and we'll see what happens. So, that's kind of not. It's not.
Okay, I can do that. I've been looking forward to opening it.
So. Yeah, me too. Look at it. As usual, the guest has cheated because look at all this crap. Look at all these books, people.
Like I said, it's quantity over quality, maybe. So we'll see.
Listen. I'm looking forward to seeing whatever the heck's in there. None of this. It doesn't matter. It'll be fun. I'll read it. I'll do it whatever with it. What's up, low budget? Welcome. Intense questions. Anyways, I'm going to embiggen you, Brian, and then we can go from there.
Okay, sounds good.
All right,
I'm gonna jump right in here.
Dive on in, yeah. And so you kind of gave me a list of like stuff you're interested in, like the guests used to do, and it was all Marvel.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So you're not a big DC guy, I take it. Like you don't dig on the DC comics.
No, I do. I mean, I do. I've been collecting. Like, I haven't been reading as many DC.
Yeah.
Nice House on the Lake. Sure. The only really DC that I have been reading was Refrigerator Full of Heads.
Oh, yeah.
Was probably a bad choice.
Oh, all right. You didn't dig it?
Yeah, it's I didn't read the previous series. What was it?
Yeah.
Duffel Bag
or something. There's something full of heads. It was a Joe Hill.
Yeah, book. Some other carrying device for heads.
Yeah.
But I didn't read that, so maybe I'm missing out, and this story's not hitting as well. But
I read the first issue of Refrigerator. I didn't read the first series either, so like it was fine. It just didn't grab me enough to like keep going with it. So.
Right,
but
I stuck with it. But
yeah. Now, do you have a favorite character?
DC character?
No, just in general, like a favorite.
It's Spider-Man. Yeah, okay. Spider-Man's my guy. He's always been.
Yeah.
People have asked me that before. I don't remember how it came about, but
yeah.
I think it was that when I originally learned about superheroes at a young age, I live on Long Island, which is I'm in 2 counties over from Queens. So
yeah, you got the New York connection.
Spider-Man it was like it clicked right away because it was like, wow, he lives, not that far from me. Like, so as a kid thinking he's real, like, oh, okay, well, I can go see him. He's not that far from me.
Yeah, that's cool. That's awesome. Yeah.
That was the connection. And I used to watch the Adam West Batman on reruns on TV as a kid. So I was hooked early to superheroes. So
sure. Yeah, the Adam West. I think the Adam West still holds up. Oh yeah, you also. I forgot about that. You won a trade paperback. So there you go. Have that.
Oh, okay, excellent.
It was one of the weekly review ones I was doing, which is a dead series as of tomorrow. So whatever.
Nice. And that's funny because the Umbrella Academy was not a comic book that I was familiar with, but my daughter actually told me about it,
Yeah.
and she was like, "Oh, you got to watch the show." So I recently went back and watched. Was it 2 seasons or 3 seasons of
I
it?
think only two, and it's written by some singer, My Chemical Morning Glory,
Yes, My
something.
Chemical Romance.
Yeah, but
So
I would
yeah,
recommend, which I did not do either, is trying to hunt down the first series of it because it's going to help. Because that series, if you dive right into this, if you've watched the show, you'll sort of get it, but you're kind
okay,
of be like, this is
okay. All right, I'm ripping off the painter's
yeah,
tape.
do it.
Got the start here. Oh, all right, we're
Yeah.
right in with Spider-Man.
Yes. And some of these are just kind of like that's a filler book to be honest. It's like okay, like it's a spectacular, underrated run. Like I don't think Spectacular gets the love it deserves.
No, I agree. I've kind of asked that, like, why is that? Obviously, Amazing Spider-Man was the premier title,
Yeah.
but yeah, Spectacular. Some of the storylines of Spectacular were as good.
Yeah, if not better. Like Amazing's had some bad runs in the middle there. So
No,
again,
Spectacular.
yeah. Yeah, and for those playing along at home, we set what a $50. I think it was a $50 price point
$50, yeah,
ish.
yeah.
Yeah, which where none of this comic book prices are like the stock market. If you're not a big collector, you just kind of shrug and you do your best. So yeah,
Wolverine, nice cover.
nice. And you're a big Wolverine guy too, right? You like
Yeah, I haven't read him as much as Spider-Man, but certainly like yeah, the Marvel side, I would say he's one of my top couple characters.
yeah. And then the
This is
other
a nice
third
cover.
piece you gave me was
Star
Star Wars.
Wars.
Like everybody, so there's some common themes I'm noticing with a lot of the audience and myself too. Like you just kind of like a lot of us had the same time period growing up, and I think a lot of the same influences. But like,
Yeah, it's kind of I've mentioned it before. My love of like comic books and toy. When I was young, I had a lot of comic book toys. I had all like Mego figures, and I
oh,
had
nice.
a lot of action, Spider-Man action figures. But it was kind of this Toy Story moment, right? Star Wars came out, and then
Oh
I got
yeah.
rid of. I went and got all the space toys. I had all the Star Wars toys at the time.
And they
So
had very cool vehicles, but the actual Kenner figures kind of sucked.
yeah, the figures weren't. This is a great cover too.
Yeah, it's a cool one. It's a cool cover. I don't think it's a key issue. I'm not sure. I need to get better at marking key issues for people, but I also figure, oh, you guys get to explore, and everyone can use the Key Collector app. So yeah. Now
Yeah, the action figures weren't great, but the like I had the Millennium Falcon,
oh yeah,
and yeah, the
the
vehicles were
vehicles were
really good.
fantastic. Like
Ooh,
I
look
was
at
jealous.
this.
I could never
It's
afford
got
it. That is that Spider-Man Booth exclusive. I figured if you've never shopped there, you might not have it. If you do, you still could only ever get it if you participated in one of their live kind of events.
okay.
So
I
yeah,
have never
it's a
purchased.
Wolverine
I've
cover.
watched plenty of them, but I've never purchased anything.
So there you go. You are now welcome to the club. You're now that Spider-Man Boother. You're part of the yeah.
Yeah, these are some great. This is another great Wolverine cover.
Yeah, it's another one. I figured, like again, I didn't figure you to be a big Spider-Man buyer, and so I was like, okay, I will pull from the variants for you, which is not something that always gets done. But I was like, well, I think
No, those are really great covers.
Sure.
Oh, all right.
So.
And then last but not least,
and then the classic, yes.
Get rid of some of the tape here.
Yeah, I try not to over tape, but you know how it is. There you go. And I'm sure you've never seen that book before.
No, I have not seen that cover before.
No, never. Yeah, it's very rare. Never.
No, this is a great.
I'm sure you probably don't own 40 of them either. So
McFarlane, too. That was one of the things too. When McFarlane started to draw Spider-Man, it was like he was like I think one of I knew like John Byrne back in the day.
Yeah.
When he was on like his Thor run, but McFarlane was kind of one of the first artists that I knew who he, you could tell his style, and I knew exactly who he was. When he would draw a book.
Yeah, I mean, Byrne, you could sort of tell too, and like, but that was my era growing up. Was more the Byrne. You could always tell a Byrne face. At least I always could. But
yeah, he had a unique style.
Yeah, but when McFarlane took over, he definitely kind of stretched the limit and made Spider-Man into this wiry, athletic kind of.
Yes.
Not that Byrne drew a lot of Spider-Man, but still, he like what McFarlane definitely like McFarlane's Hulk too. He just kind of made him this like really big beast, which is not necessarily what all the other artists were doing, which is kind of nice. Yeah.
McFarlane's Hulk was very he was wide.
Yeah, he was. And really, and he also used a really thin ink line, which was like not. I think Marvel hated him at the time, to be honest. Like until they realized, oh, the kids are digging this, and then they're like, okay, fine, you can draw Spider-Man. That's my theory. I could be wrong, but it just seems like because he wasn't like his stuff was different than what everyone else was kind of doing, and I think that led to like, well, Jim Lee was around the same time too, but then it all sort of led to obviously Image and then changing the entire industry.
Right.
A pretty short amount of time.
The 90s that we want to forget about.
Yeah, exactly. So now, do you have like a favorite comic that you own? Like, it doesn't have to be the most valuable or anything. I'm just wondering if you have a favorite.
Yeah, no, I think I do have one. So one Amazing Spider-Man number 80. Yeah. So my only sub 100 ASM.
Nice.
And it was published in the month and year that I was born.
Oh, it's a birthday book. Yeah, I just learned about those.
Yeah. So that one's that I had that slabbed, and so that I think that's kind of it's a special book because I like looking at it and saying, "Wow, that book is as old as I am."
Yeah, yeah. I need to try and hunt down like at least one. There's like 2 birthday books I'm trying to choose between, and I can't afford either of them right now. But like it's I like that idea of like this came out when I came out like of the club.
Right, exactly. So and those I'm going to start to look for some other books like my wife's birthday and my kid's birthday, so that I have those slab books of the month and year that they were born as well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
is it son or daughter?
I have 3. I have son and daughter, twins, and then a younger son.
Well, the twins are nice because you just need to find like 2 copies of the same book.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
That's should be easy.
Yeah. That would be ideal if the Wonder Twins came out that year, but
Yeah, no, 99. So no, I don't think so.
No, I don't. I couldn't tell you what came out in 99. Yeah, that was not the great. That's not known as a great era of comics.
Yeah, I think I actually looked it up for the Amazing Spider-Man. I think it was I think it's like volume 3, the first issue of volume 3. I think of Amazing Spider-Man.
That's not horrible.
No, it's not. Yeah.
I think you could also like there's a wiki or on Wikipedia you could look for like first appearances that came out by that month.
Oh, okay.
Too. So I don't know if you ever want to do it that way.
Because I think I think you guys were talking about it last night about or maybe it was some point this weekend. Somebody was asking, and Rob Fatstacks about what the order of appearance by Amazing Spider-Man. So it was Amazing, Fantasy 15, then Amazing Spider-Man 1, 2, and then there were a few other books that like Avengers 3, I think, or Fantastic 4 Annual.
Yeah.
So I went looking and I found a site that actually has the kind of appearance list of Spider-Man and any Marvel character in like chronological order.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's not bad. Like it's a good resource.
So because somebody asked me and I was like, it was banter. When we were on banter Saturday night, that's where it was.
Okay.
Somebody was asking me, and I was like, I'm not really sure.
The Chip Kettler show that half the time doesn't have Chip Kettler on it. Yeah,
yes, yeah. Chip. Rob hijacked Chip's channel, and we went on for 4 or 5 hours.
That's awesome. Yeah, Scott says he's bought himself a birthday car, but not a birthday book. Now, Scott, you should come on here sometime. But anyways. Asking the audience, did you buy a car that came out the month and year you were born? Because that's the only or did you just buy it for yourself as a birthday gift? Because it has to be like the way the comic books work. It has to come out that, or at least been published that time. So like if it's did you buy yourself like a '73 Dodge Dart? Because then it count, like that's a birthday car then, right? That's how it works, I think. So. Now you also you're kind of probably most known in the community for your breakfast. No, for the award show, right? Like that's the.
I think so, right? Because I started the award show only a couple months into my YouTube channel, so I think that's really people most associate the awards with me and my channol.
That's all. Now, I'm guessing it was quite an endeavor once you sort of dove in, right? Like it's a fair amount of work and a lot of.
Yeah, a lot of just planning and trying to come up with the categories. I mean, the category list the first year was pretty easy.
Yeah.
looked around the community. What are people doing? What do people generally make videos on?
Yeah.
So coming up with the list was fairly easy. And then just trying to figure out the best way to collect the nominations and the votes, and
Yeah.
so a little bit of work.
Are you changing things up for year 2, or is it going to be?
Yes, yeah. So year two, we're going to actually expand the award categories. So include a few new, and then looking at adding some tiers, because one of the feedback items from the first year was that, well, you shouldn't have a channel with 100 subs up against a channel that has 1,500 subs.
Yeah, if that makes sense. If it's straight audience voting, the bigger audience is going to
Right.
push for their guy. But
Right.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, it's just math, right? They have
yeah,
the numbers. So we're
yeah.
gonna break up some categories in tiers of
Nice.
subscriber tiers,
Are
basically.
you gonna do it like the Oscars, where like the shitty categories aren't shown live? You're like, okay, we're gonna start the show.
No, I'm gonna play. I think we're. I have to go back and look, because I kind of did all the planning, and
Yeah,
I worked with. I had about 15 committee members to kind of help me. And I went out and got a lot of feedback after last year's awards from a lot of people. I just reached out saying, "Hey, if you watched it, let me know what you thought. What can I do different?" So there was a lot of. I had a lot of notes, and then I worked with the committee, and kind of came up with the new list. But I
okay,
think we're almost doubling. So last year we had 11. I think this year we're going to have 20. But a lot of that is they're going to be duplicate, but they're going to be the tiers,
sure.
different subscriber numbers. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
that's why the number's kind of growing.
And is that coming up kind of soon, or is it a little ways off yet?
So I'm going to do a live stream the end of this month, the 26th, to kind of reveal all of the new changes in categories, and then vote nominations will open in April.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
Guys, give Brian a follow down on YouTube. His channel link's down there, so follow him. Hit the notification bell. You can find out when this is all going to happen. Have your voice be heard. Be part of the community. Spread the love, like herpes. Just spread it.
yes, spread it around. Yes.
Right. So okay, you gave me 2 different ones, and none of them are labeled. So I'm just going to dive into one of
Yeah,
them.
I don't think I labeled like start here. I didn't.
No, that's fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
part of the fun adventure. Hang on, I'm not good with StreamYard. I've still never figured this program out. So yeah, Chop. I'm looking forward to it. The words are fun. I know. Like any internet community, there were some butthurt people, but whatever.
Yeah, I think I think they got over it pretty
Yeah.
quickly. I think they just the main complaint was that people were not aware of it, and so we're gonna obviously trying to spread the word. If
Yeah.
anybody wants to have me on their channel to talk about it, like we're doing here, that's great. I'll come on. Trying to share more on Instagram, and kind of make sure that just it's on people's radar. I think after the first year, there's obviously a lot more people now that are aware.
I mean, I'm sure Reggie's going to promote the hell out of it again. So
bad press. It's better than no press.
yeah, there you go. No, so now have you been collecting books your whole life, or did you take a break? Or
I took a break. So I collected in the '80s from I was a teenager till probably when I was like 11 or 12 to around 19 or 20 years old, and then I took a break. So I took a break for 20 something years, 25 years or so. So I only got back in, but I had all my original comics. I had a couple long boxes full of books. I mean, back then too, you only really had 13 issues a year. You had, one a month and an annual. So there wasn't like, 3 a month like there is today.
a little bit easier to keep up with. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
you weren't accumulating as many books. Back then. So
until the mid '80s hit, and then they
right, and that's kind of when like 80, probably 89, 90 is when I kind of stopped collecting, and then I didn't get back until 2019, 2020.
Was it COVID that kind of brought you back in, like the lockdown, like everybody else?
Yeah, because I was working from home, so I had more free time because I was. Didn't have to get ready for work, wasn't commuting, that type of thing. So
nice. Sorry, I was digging in while we're talking. Yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah. So, and that's, so that I started going through the old books that I had, that my couple long boxes that I had. And I initially kind of just got back in to sell those books.
Speaking of 80s and 90s, hell yeah.
I was going to put a Turok #1 in there, but I held off.
That's all right. DJ's already got me with that one. And I have a few copies of it. So nice. This is Jim Valentino, I think. And this is that era. And he was one of the better Image guys. Like, underappreciated at the time, but and a lesser name than some of the other big ones. But he was fun. So, anyways, okay. So you took a break, and then you came back in, and then
initially I kind of came back in with just kind of trying to figure out. Yeah, nice black cover. Yeah, shiny.
I'm gonna try and blind the audience. That's awesome.
But I when I came back, I wasn't really collecting. I was trying to figure out what my value on the comics I had were, and I started selling some of them. I didn't really have any intention of getting back into collecting. Yeah. And then it kind of rekindled the collecting, and then I started going to LCS, and then very shortly after that I was pull list but I had a lot to learn because when I initially collected, there were no grading companies.
Yeah.
There were very little variant covers, very little, like I said, 12, 13 issues a year.
It really has all changed.
Yeah, things really changed. So it was a bit of a learning experience coming back.
And yeah, I agree. I'm on kind of the same boat. And hell yeah, man, I need to read all these. I've not read any of them. And this is Joss Whedon and a couple other people at Buffy. I know Joss has been canceled, but like he can still write a mean book. So.
Well, he wrote it before he got canceled. So
yeah, there you go. Okay, so this is awesome. Now, yeah, I do think like collecting really, like we touched on this with a couple of people, but I think you're right. Collecting really has changed. Like at least for me, when I was a kid and stuff, I would just collect actual stories I liked, and you still kind of do, but like they're not. That's not where the value is in collecting as far as monetary things goes. It's all like who showed up first or limited print runs or like that kind of thing. It's very bizarre. Like, like I'm assuming these are awesome, man. Thank you. Like at least when I was a kid, it was all you never wanted the newsstand because the barcode was ugly, right? That was
well, I picked up a lot of books because I could go. There was a 7-Eleven that wasn't too far from my house. So I could walk there.
Oh, that's awesome. So you have all the newsstands. You're rich, man.
I picked up a bunch of newsstands, back in the day.
Hell yeah, man! This is awesome. This is like Alan Moore's like love letter to the golden age or the silver age stuff. Hell yes! Thank you, man. I will look forward to reading all of these. Yeah. So you got okay. So now do you just go and like pick them right off the spinner rack or whatever was it, 7-Eleven or the.
Yeah, if they were either spinner rack or they might even been just, with all the other magazines.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But, and then at some point, I think when I started driving, when I was older, then I started going to a local LCS. But most of the books I initially collected were just, convenience store, pickups.
You didn't ever try and like send out for a subscription from a book that was like 10 years old and never get back?
That was, something I never did. It was just really, hitting the store and being able to pick books up, or if I was out with my parents or something like that, then I could pick books up. I tried mailing away for subscriptions, but I was a cheap bastard even back then, and so I would hunt for like the older books that I had like you get the 12 issues for $6. I'm like, well, that's a better deal than the new one. I'm gonna send. Yeah.
And then I just never heard back. So like, screw you, Marvel. It ruined the dreams of a kid by not mailing me. And also, like, I'm sure the books I like trying to subscribe to weren't in print anymore. Like half the titles have been canceled, and so it just kind of. I just didn't know any better. As a kid, my parents were like, "Yeah, you can go ahead. It's like $4 or whatever the subscription amount was." It was very cheap back then, like. Especially because I was
you could go to the 7-Eleven with $3 or $4 $5 bill and pick up a ton of books.
The tobaccos don't nice. Yeah, there was one tobacco and bookstore near me that stayed open forever, but it's mostly because they sold porn mags. Like that was about
yeah, we had quite a few stationery stores that had big magazine rack. Yeah, half of it was smut.
Nice. I read this. I think I might have read this entire series back in the day. I don't have any of them anymore. This is awesome.
Okay.
If you've never read the Sandman Mystery Theater, it's a fun read. and great art by Guy Davis too. Like, have you read this one yet at all?
I have not.
It's all it's DC, I know, but it's pretty good.
No, I've heard good things about the Sandman series, and obviously, I think is it Netflix? Is it or
Netflix
HBO
has,
Max?
yeah, and this is a different one. To really confuse matters, Vertigo came out with Sandman and Sandman Mystery Theater at about the same time, and they're not at all related.
Okay.
Like Sandman Mystery Theater is Wesley Dodds, this kind of dumpy dude in Depression era that like put on a gas mask and knocked out bad guys and good guys just to get like he basically just knocked. He had one trick. He would knock out people with sleeping gas, and like it was a whole different thing than like the goth kind of horror that Sandman, the main Vertigo title was. It was really pretty confusing, but Vertigo. So
okay,
nice, hell yeah, man. I just do love these covers too, like. And I think at some point I owned a piece of original art from one of these, and it got all wet and everything. All my comics were damaged a couple years ago, so I'm rebuilding everything. So these are great. Nice, hell yeah, the new universe. Oh, talk about throwing shit at the wall to see what sticks.
Yeah.
Hang on, sorry, I got to shut my phone off again. People, very popular. Nice. I've not read this one. I don't know. This is definitely a bizarro.
Good. Yeah, that was the goal. I was trying to. I know you said you kind of like a little, offbeat titles.
Definitely.
So I was trying to put together, stuff that I figured maybe you hadn't read or, that you hadn't seen before. So that was
I knew I was aware the new universe came out. I think the only thing that survived this in the current continuity is the Star brand, right? I think that's kind of still in Marvel. I think, but I don't know. Like, this is awesome. Look at that wackily designed sort of robot. I don't know. I will find out. I'll read this and get back to you people.
Nice.
Oh, and I got more. Oh, I think his uniform got an upgrade too, or it's
Oh, is that issue 1 and 2? Okay, yeah.
Oh, nice. Hell yeah, man. Very cool. These are great, man. Thank you. Oh, and then we have the Trencher. Nice. This I know it's what Keith Giffen and I couldn't tell you, but yeah, I love this wacky image. Like he did Lobo for a bit, and like his Lobo was not. I didn't like it quite as much as Simon Bisley, but like he does these wacky over the top things. I can't think of it. It might be Keith Giffen, but I can't think of the artist's name. So what do you on your channel? You like we were talking a little bit. You like put out content like 4 to 5 days a week, right? You.
I'm trying to. I'm doing like 3 days a week, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then I do a morning show on Saturday.
Okay.
That's kind of been the schedule, but I've been messing around with some of the shorts lately, just trying to see how they work, and because I've had a couple like Amazing Spider-Man reviews in 15 seconds that have done crazy 2,000 2,500 views, so. Just trying to see if that will help drive, traffic to the channel.
Yeah, and we were sort of chatting. Like, do you do all your content? You don't do all your content from your phone. It doesn't look like it, anyways. But like,
no, I have a regular, kind of camera set up in the spare bedroom. That's where I'm in now. But the shorts work best, because you can right from the YouTube app. You can, they kind of give you the framework to create the short, and they have like filters and different things that you can add.
Nice.
So right from the phone, I'll just do the shorts.
Nice. Here we go. The Incredible Motor Mouth. Another one that I think is a carryover from Marvel UK. I'm not sure. Like this is I was sort of familiar with some of these, but I haven't and I've never read it. So, but it's got Nick Fury in a floating head, so it's got to be good, right?
Yeah, that you got a floating head on the cover. I mean,
hell yeah. Can't go wrong. And the fashion police. This is awesome, man. Thank you. Oh, and the other Sandman. Yeah, this is the dream. Yeah, I don't have this issue. I did it one time, but thank you. I did.
Okay, good.
This is the run I'm working on, trying to rebuild, and yeah, this is great. So, actually, I think this is a newer one even. So yeah, I never had this, but this is
I think that's new. Yeah, newer.
Yeah, it came out after the original series. So fantastic. And last and not least, and more shiny than anything, we have the Tribe. Yeah, I've not read this one either. So I got you. You got me, man. I don't think I've read anything although I've read the Sandman Mystery Theaters, but nothing else in this stack. So this is awesome.
Okay, good.
I got a whole stack of goodies to read. So this is great. Thank you, man.
Good.
So okay, did you start making videos? Like, okay, you kind of dove in and like almost like fairly quickly into your channel. You started doing the award stuff. Were you making videos before that, or is that kind of like what?
No, I mean, I've had a YouTube, I've been on YouTube for a long time, but I had like just like family video type
Sure.
stuff that I had uploaded. Um, but what really drove me to YouTube was when I started looking at my long box collection that I had, and I started selling some of those books.
Yeah.
I went to YouTube to figure out how to pack a comic book
Oh yeah.
because I had no idea, like, well, how am I going to ship this properly and so it doesn't get damaged? I knew enough to say, if I'm going to ship this in the mail, I got to pack it well. So I actually went to, did a search on YouTube, and found a couple videos on, Gemini mailers.
Yeah.
Again, Gemini mailer was all new to me. I'd never seen a Gemini mailer. Um, so I found a couple videos, and then that led me to, I think the first channel I ever really found was Reggie Collects.
Oh yeah.
And then I started seeing, oh, well, people are doing reviews and they're doing unboxings. And then, that led me to other channels. And then it kind of snowballed. And very quickly, like I said, I was back at the LCS and I had a pull list set up and,
That's awesome.
off I went.
Do you pack things according to that video still, or have you changed it up a bit?
Now, well, what I was doing first, I was like, well, I don't want to spend money on Gemini mailers. So I was doing the cardboard sandwich
Yeah.
and, a little bit of bubble wrap. I could get, recycled cardboard boxes and just use those.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting out, on a Saturday afternoon, I'm cutting them in a certain size so that I could sandwich them.
Yeah.
But then eventually I said, I probably just should go buy some Gemini mailers.
Well, you're one of you admit you're a seller as well, which is awesome because like a lot of people either don't admit to it or like or they just kind of like look down on it for whatever the hell reason. But like
Right.
you can't keep everything. I mean,
Right.
you can if your name is Hoarder's Hide. But
And
like,
it was, yeah. I don't have the space to be able to do that.
yeah,
But what happened before I even started the YouTube channel was I had purchased a few collections because I started to realize, like, well, just by selling the books that I had, I brought in, some money. And so I was like, wow, well, what if I go try to buy some books and try to flip them? I said,
yeah,
this could be a nice little side thing. And so I had purchased two collections, probably a couple months apart, but this was all before I started YouTube. So I didn't film it or do anything with it.
sure,
But I pulled some big books from there. So the one collection I think I paid like $450 for, and it was like 15 short boxes and a couple other random things. And
wow,
I pulled a Clone Wars #1.
that's awesome.
So
Now, do you still have that, or did you flip it?
I sold it.
Okay,
I probably should have kept it, but when I said, I paid less than $1 for this book, and
yeah,
I got it graded, and it came back, I think, a 9.6. But I really did everything all wrong because I really didn't know about pressing and cleaning,
yeah,
and so I knew obviously a graded book would have more value than a raw book, and so I went and had that, and I looked at it and said, oh, it looks clean. This is a 9.8. And it came back a 9.6. I should have had it pressed and probably would have been a 9.8.
I
But
mean,
still,
there's very fine differences between the 9.6 and the 9.8. Really,
oh
so
yeah,
like you might have done all that and it still could have come back,
right.
obviously. But,
So, but still, I had maybe $60, $70 investment in this book, and I sold it for like 1,500.
yeah, that's not bad.
So I was like, that sounds good to me.
Yeah, yeah, and you can't we can't hold on to everything. And if you're trying to do it as a side hustle, eventually you're going to have to like set your
Right.
price and just be like, all right, we're good. Like, now
So
you sell on eBay most
yeah,
exclusively,
pretty
or
much eBay. Yeah, I've applied for Whatnot, but I've applied now, I think 3 or 4 times, and I never get a response. So I'm like,
yeah, I mean, I think they'll get you at some point. Thanks for stopping in, Rob. Appreciate it. Yeah, I managed to like sort of get approved without really getting approved. So like it's a while back, but I'm on there and I can sell, but it's a different beast, as you know. Like,
oh yeah, no, I mean, I think I was watching one of your last auction for a little bit, and I've watched Nick's Kicks and Comics,
yeah,
Cole's Comic Claim, a few other of the community members, and it's a lot of work. They're like, you're nonstop talking, and entertaining and talking to the chat. And I
Giving away
mean,
books to people that just pop in for giveaways. No.
right? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's all part of that game. There, you gotta get up to the level where you get enough followers that you can start selling big
Right.
paper.
You have enough people. Yeah. I mean, eBay for me is more like, you can kind of set it and forget it. Right.
Yeah.
The only bad thing, and there was a few times where a book spiked and I
Oh,
had a book
and you
listed,
didn't adjust it. Yeah.
yeah, because it like, somebody said, oh, there's some new rumor out. And then all of a sudden I see a book selling that had been listed for months. And I'm saying, why is this book selling? And then I realized, oh, somebody, there was some spec on it
Yeah.
and, so
And
there's certainly some missed opportunities there, but like I said, it's pennies on the dollar for what I paid for a lot of these books,
yeah.
because I bought them in bulk and in a big collection. So
Yeah, and the nice thing about eBay is once you have it up there, it is pretty passive, and like there's eBay buyers that can be kind of awful, but there's also you get that everywhere.
yeah, and I've had a few bad interactions, but most of the time it's been like maybe it got damaged in shipping, and as
Yeah,
long as if you're shipping priority mail, then you're covered. Or if you have, if it's a big value book, then obviously you need to make sure you put insurance or something
yeah,
on it. So
yeah. And you like every week you put up like is it the five your highest price books you've sold, or is it just kind of
no, right now it's really just any of the books I'm selling because
yeah
I have about maybe 4.5 long boxes that I still have listed on eBay
yeah
of books. Um, and so, yeah, and that was how I started my YouTube channel because I was selling on eBay, and I started watching some other comic book YouTube channels. I said, well, I have a source of content every week because I'm selling on eBay, so I can
yeah
make a, what sold on eBay video. And so that was my initial, because I knew I could do that at least weekly or, every other week,
yeah
because I had that stream of selling books. And then then I got really involved with watching everybody, a bunch of other channels, and then it kind of just progressed from there, the amount of videos that I was creating.
Well, I think the eBay one's great because it's a sort of insight into like the weird mind of the consumer. Sometimes,
Yes.
I think it is because I sell on there too. I don't promote the vid. I don't make vids on it, but like the stuff that sells, I'm like, what in the hell? And like it's sometimes books that are spiked. It's sometimes like I just sold an ash can that had been sitting around for at least a year that I bought at half price books, and it's like
Right.
and I like the guy made an offer on it, and I was like, well, I wanted to check and see if it had spiked or if something else was going on before I accepted the offer.
Right.
And I no, and I had it listed for $15 more than anybody else, and they just wanted that copy. So I'm like, okay, I'll sell
Oh,
it.
wow.
And like
Okay.
I don't know, like I'm sure that's happened to you at some point too, where you're just like, why did this sell? Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
No, there's things that just, just I'll have it as buy it now,
yeah,
buy it now or make an offer. And there's some that, some people are, nickel and diming you over, I've sold like, Spider Woman lot, 1
yeah,
through 50. And, I'm asking, $60 for it. And then they're like, oh, well, just the crazy offers that you'll get for
yeah.
like,
Now, do you set it at like do you set pretty low thresholds when you like to refuse offers, or is it just kind of like
yeah,
dependent on the lot? Thanks, Chip.
initially
Appreciate it.
when I listed books, I was pricing them based on fair market value from like Go Collect
Yeah,
or but then I quickly realized that I was overpricing it because they were most of them were raw books.
yeah,
So I was really then I just started really using eBay as my
yeah,
research. Look at the last sold on eBay and come up with a competitive price. And then I started to sell a lot more books
yeah.
early
Makes
on.
sense. See, and there you go, audience. If you want to sell books, it's not a bad way to do it. Now, do you take a lot of? Because when I first started, I would take like photos of every corner of the book and like the front and the back and and now when I put a book up, I front and back. And if
Yeah,
people
that's
want,
what I'll do. Because that's time consuming. And when
yeah,
I would buy a collection, like I said, I think the one collection had like 15 short boxes. So,
yeah,
and a lot of them weren't sorted. So that takes a lot of work just going through and organizing it all. Then
yeah,
you have to do the research to say, all right, well, what am I going to price it for? And then you have to do all the photos and then all the listings. So it can be very time consuming. So some of the early listings, I did a lot of photos.
Yeah.
And I would recommend that if you have the time. But yeah, then I just started doing front and back cover
Yeah.
when I had, because at one point I probably had 600 listings.
Yeah.
So that it was time consuming to get that done.
Yeah, I used to like now it sort of depends upon if I know there's faults in the book and the price point. Then I'll sort of bother. But like I also don't have anything on eBay priced under $10. I just figure it's not worth my time. I'm like, you know what?
Right, right.
Like
And,
because
and
like
I and I did. I had a bunch of books that were under like $5 book
yeah,
or and then I was like I did the same thing. I got rid of most of those individual books, and I would either package them up in a lot, or some of them I just would give away, or
yeah.
so because it's not really worth your
When you
time if
when you figure out like what eBay takes for the cut, and then like what you're paying for the Gemini and everything else, you're like, okay, I
right
just made 7 cents.
right
Right.
right
It's like, what am I doing? But I mean, there's still money to be made, obviously. Like you made the $1,500 or whatever dollars on the Clone Wars, but yeah, most books I'm guessing are kind of like the grind of it all, right? Like you don't sell a
right
$1,500
yeah
book every day. It's just
but
if you do, teach me.
but what I mean, like I sold a set of books today. It was like some Star Trek books,
Yeah, the
like
gold key or
issues
the
1
'80s.
through 8.
Oh yeah.
And I think I sold it for like $15.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but I've already spent the money on those books, 2 years ago. So now it's really just helping me fund buying new books.
Yeah.
So any eBay money I make is basically I'm putting back in, to my weekly LCS trip. So
Yeah, and that's a good way to look at it too. If you can, it's part of the churn. You just gotta like because yeah, I mean I have a whole short box of like new releases that I need to go through and to figure out what do I actually feel like keeping. I've read them all, like as part of the review
right,
stuff. I'm like I don't need to keep all these,
right.
and so I have to figure out do they go to other people? Do they go to eBay? Do they just so
Yeah, and that's what I just did recently. I kind of went through, and there were some books, that maybe I collected, the first couple issues, and then didn't really like the story and stopped. So I just recently took some of those books, modern from the last couple months, and
yeah,
listed them on eBay just to see, maybe I can just try to recoup some money that I can use for,
yeah.
next week's, LCS trip.
And that's one thing where I think Whatnot has the advantage because you could put it up for about what you paid cover price and just run it
Right.
until
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
so you're not going to lose your ass on it. But
Yeah, and I find a couple times that I've been in auctions where if I buy one thing, I
yeah,
want to buy more because that way I can get the discount on shipping.
yeah, that they have that. That's a good smart setup they have where it's like the first you pay the $4 or whatever for the first book, and then everything else is just $1 extra for shipping. So it's like
Right.
okay,
Right. So
for
yeah,
each extra
you're
item.
more likely to kind of load up on a few extra
That
books.
that's how I do. That's what I mean. It like I channel surf a lot on there. I'll like to go from one to the next seller. But if I find a book or actually pull the plug, then I just kind of keep watching. I have it on in the background while I'm doing other stuff. And if I see anything I like, because I'm like, well, I already spent money. I might as well spend a little bit more and get
Right.
a book
Right.
that I can either flip or keep or like yeah,
Yeah, and you can hit that one auction that there's not a lot of people in there, and pick up
yeah,
some books on a steal. So
yeah. And if you like, I would recommend that while you're doing your breakfast videos because like there's not a lot of people that shop in the mornings, but there's still sellers on there, and you can find deals on there if you're
yeah, I think a couple people mentioned like they bought some stuff during like the Super Bowl because nobody was watching
yeah.
the
I mean,
auctions
I've
on
had
eBay.
luck. I don't sleep all the time, so like at 3 in the morning, I'll sometimes just like open the app and see what's on there. You really get good deals then too.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So, what do you? Speaking of reading, what are you reading nowadays? Like, is it still mostly Marvel stuff or indies or
Mostly Marvel.
yeah?
Amazing Spider-Man is kind of the first book I always try to read, even though the storyline's been kind of all over the place over the last couple months.
Well, they've had like 10
Um,
different writers, right? Like lately, it seems like it. I can't keep up.
yeah, they've been bouncing around. Zeb Wells did a few issues which I really liked, and then now he's been off, but he's going to be the writer, with John Romita Jr. So I'm hopeful that April that the storyline gets a little bit more consistent.
It really is. Yeah, seriously. It's a good point. One shot.
Yeah,
But if
I
you
try
want,
not to go on Whatnot too often because I'm
yeah.
afraid I'm just going to spend too much money. So
Yeah, but if anyone watching wants to be a dirty Whatnot buyer, you can use my link down below and save $10 for their first purchase. I'm a whore. What can I tell you? So,
So Spider-Man, Spider-Man's kind of the first read always.
yeah,
I'm reading so the new. I jumped in on a bunch of the new series, Hulk,
sure.
She-Hulk, Venom, because I just thought it was a good point with
Yeah,
new series starting. So I've been reading those, um, Devil's Reign, and Dark. The Dark. Why am I? Why is that
Dark
not saying
Ages
right?
was that the one?
Dark. Is it Dark Ages?
Is it the steampunk kind of one where the power went
No,
up?
it's the Marvel. Where they're kind of set in the future, where in the EMP.
Yeah, same book. Okay, yeah,
Okay, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So that I've been reading those those little short miniseries, and those have I really Devil's Reign and both those series have been good. So,
yeah.
um, and then really, like I said, the only thing I've consistently read from DC, and don't ask me why, was Refrigerator Full of Heads. So I'm
Very interesting
collecting that. I'm
choice.
collecting Nice House on the Lake,
Yeah,
but I haven't watched that. I haven't read that.
yeah,
Um, I'm collecting the Batman Catwoman 12 issue series, but I
okay,
haven't read that either.
yeah.
So I have to kind of block some time to go and
You
read
know,
that.
with both of those are maxi series. You're probably I get you probably might as well just wait till they're over because then you can just
Yeah,
read them.
yeah, no, because I think the Batman is 12,
I think they're both
and
12. Yeah,
oh, is Nice House
I think
12
that
as
I think
well?
yeah, I think
Okay,
so.
okay,
I've personally found that a lot of these writers don't write for issues. They'll write for the maxi series, like so.
right.
Yeah, like Tom King's very frustrating for me to read month to month. He's that Batman, Catwoman, and I can't do it. I can't. I need to read him as a collection because he drives me
Okay.
bonkers. But you do. What do you think of the new Hulk? It's a pretty. It's all the ones you listed. It's probably the most controversial, I'd say.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure it out because it's a little out there, right? It's a little, so I'm going to stick with it and see. But yeah, it's been the whole split personality and bodies with the Bruce and the Hulk, and it's I'm like I read the issue and I'm like, was that good or did I understand what happened? I'm not really sure. So
I only made it through one issue of it, and I was like, I can't. No, no, thank you. I don't. It's not a direction I felt like jumping in on. Maybe I'll catch up later. But
yeah, I'm going to stick with it for a few more issues and see. I also just started so She Hulk, Moon Knight. Moon
yeah,
Knight's been really good,
Moon Knight I
and
think's been a lot of fun. Yeah,
yeah, and She Hulk has been for 2 issues. Okay,
yeah, it's not bad. You get
yeah,
Jack of Hearts in there, which very 80s, 70s Bronze Agey character,
right,
but
right,
yeah, I'm just a little surprised that there's not a lot of like fourth wall breaking in this iteration thus
right.
far. But
Yeah, I've heard that and I've never really consistently read She Hulk, and I always heard that the wall. But yeah, this one so far, 2 issues in, nothing. Yeah,
it's been fun though. Yeah, it's better than I thought it would be. Like I wasn't expecting much out of it, but Zeb Wells might get me back on Spider Man. I'm not sure. We'll see. I got issue number 1 ordered, like the Amazing Spider Man, just to give
okay,
it a
all right,
shot because I liked his run on. I think it was Hellions. I think he did a fun Hellions run that was pretty decent. But I
okay,
don't like a lot of other people are reading. But like he had a really fun take on Mr. Sinister, like the X-Men villain. He was
okay.
just kind of a douche in that book. Like wasn't really evil. I mean, he was evil, but he was just not very good at it. He was just kind of a jackass. So I thought it was pretty amusing. So we'll see how John Romita Jr. I respect the hell out of his art, but I don't necessarily always love his blocky style. So we'll see if he. For me, I don't think that blocky style would work very well on Spider Man.
Yeah,
So
I mean, like his cover, for issue number 1 is I'm not blown away by that cover.
yeah,
So some of the other variant covers, there's a few nice ones, but there's 70 different covers for issue 1. So
yeah. Is Spider Man one of the like? Are you reading like all the other like spin off stuff too, like all the point ones and the?
for the Amazing Spider-Man, yeah, I'm reading all of the the side story
Yeah,
issues, the BEY issues, and the Hunted HU issues. So I've read the complete, and I have all of the books for the complete current volume 5, and
okay,
I've read them all. Um, and some of the side stories just seem like some of them seem like a cash grab, but there was one a few issues ago which was May Parker and Doc Ock story.
Okay.
Um, and so Aunt May and Doc Ock, and I don't have because I was out of collecting. I never read the Superior Spider-Man, or I never really read the Clone Saga. So I know of the stories, but
Yeah.
I haven't read them firsthand. So that side story was interesting because it was like the relationship between Doc Ock and Aunt May.
Sure.
So
Yeah, I'm not really Brandon, nothing at all. No, like we can do a recap at the end of it all, where we just kind of go through the books. I forget
sure,
to do that sometimes, but I'll try to remember this time. We're just kind of chatting about Spider-Man mostly and other stuff. So now, yeah. So do you have any upcoming books that you're looking forward to? Like anything new on the horizon, or just are you kind of more like old standbys and like the?
I'm interested to see so Punisher, the new Punisher comes out this
Oh
week.
yeah, yeah. How do you feel
So
about the
interested to
logo?
kind of jump in on that and
Yeah.
see what that's about.
Okay. Do you have an opinion about the logo or his chest emblem?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at it, it's a little strange, right?
Sure.
And it's not the classic, one we're used to. But I think, from what I've read about it, because when it was first announced, everybody lost their mind.
Yeah.
Um, but I think it's just like a costume change for a little bit, and then he's
Yeah.
back into the classic, Punisher.
I
So
wasn't sure if you're one of those like staunch defenders of the skull, and it's like you can't change that sacred thing. I have it tattooed on my ass.
I
But
mean, I can understand it, Disney now owning,
yeah,
and the Punisher hasn't had a book in a while, so
yeah,
and the backstory of it is because it's too violent and it's not a character that Disney but I mean, you look at some of the other books that are being published, there's some craziness and violence in a number of the books, so
sure. Yeah, it will be. I don't know if I'm going to pick that one. I think that comes out this week too, doesn't it? I think.
I think it's
Yeah,
Wednesday. Yeah,
I might pick it up. We'll see. Punisher's never
yeah.
been my jam. Like I just never cared about the character. So it's like,
Yeah, I don't think I had his first limited series, but other than that, I don't think I really read
yeah,
much of the Punisher. Of him,
yeah. I mean, I
or
watched.
he's
Yeah,
he's in an Amazing Spider-Man story, but I've never really read. So that's one of the things I'm trying to do now with coming back into collecting is
yeah.
try to read some of these characters that I haven't really read over the years and try to just whether I see if I want to stick with them or not. Like I said,
Are
I think
you?
Moon Knight has been really
Yeah, Moon Knight's a lot of fun.
Moonlight's been really good. I think it's been consistent. So
Now, if you're reading the back issues, do you hunt them down physically, or are you reading them digitally, or combination, or
digitally, so I did. So when I got back in, um, Amazing Spider-Man was probably at issue like 40 or so,
yeah,
and so I had to collect. I went back and had to pick up all of 1 through 39 because I didn't have any of them.
sure.
But I also signed up for Marvel Unlimited so that I could just read, all the back issues, on my iPad because it just, trying to carry around a stack of books.
Yeah, that's I have a upcoming thing where I'm doing like Rob has his like monthly or thing where he's talking about a topic and he's like, you want to be on the Moon Knight one? Because I love Moon Knight, but I need to read more of it, so I'm gonna try and catch up digitally on that because I can't afford all the first issues and stuff.
Right, right.
And so yeah, the digital. I think I'm trying to get better at it. I do like owning the artifact. It's kind of like the collecting in me where I'm like, I want to touch it, I want to read it, I want to
Right, right. You want to physically have the book, yeah.
But if you're trying to read a volume of things, it's hard to beat the digital because it's just kind of like you said, you just have it on your iPad and flip through it and
Right.
go
And if
right.
you're traveling or doing anything, you've got your iPad and you can read it anywhere. So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's good because I know some people are totally anti all this, but they're also the curmudgeons that hate change in a lot of ways, and I think
I think the iPad makes it real easy to read because
it does. Yeah,
you can zoom in. A page fits pretty
yeah.
well on the iPad, and then you can zoom in or because some of the books I've found, I think it was Chicken Devil. I read Chicken Devil, and the lettering was so sloppy. Like I had trouble reading it.
Man after my own heart, bitching about lettering. Yeah, that's yeah.
So and I'm like, my eyes are not that young anymore. So
No,
like,
that's the thing. As like, yeah, we like either have to do this
Right.
Or yeah, where you can just pinch and be like, okay, that's
Yeah,
fine.
when you can just zoom in, it makes life a lot easier.
Yeah. There's bad lettering. You notice bad lettering. Like if it's
Oh,
good
yeah.
lettering, you don't. But like if it's good lettering, it's invisible, right? It's just part of this
Right.
thing.
Right.
But if
But
it's
the
bad,
bad is like, well, you're struggling to read it. And Chicken Devil, I found, the art style almost seemed sloppy to me. And
yeah.
then so you had kind of, in my opinion, sloppy art, and then you had sloppy lettering. It was just like, I don't,
Yeah, I mean the art was it had some vagueness to it that I didn't. I mean, I don't mind it in some stories, but I just didn't. I just didn't get care. Like Chicken Devil, I just couldn't stop. Everything about Chicken Devil is like this is just Los Pollos Hermanos from
yeah,
Breaking Bad. It's kind of like it's just Breaking Bad in a chicken suit. I just couldn't figure. I
yeah,
just
yeah, pretty
didn't get
much,
into
yeah.
it, but I never did. Brandon, I've never watched Comic Book Men. I know people have. I don't know. Did you ever see that show,
That's
Ryan?
the Kevin
Kevin
Smith show,
Smith.
right?
Yeah, his company, his shop at least. Yeah.
No, I've seen clips of it, but I've never
Yeah.
really consistently watched that. Yeah,
I think
yeah.
Adrian APM was on it back in the day, but I don't. Yeah, I never.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah, I think that's the clip I saw.
yeah. So there you go. Like, nope. I never have. Like, no. What other YouTubers do you follow? Like, I mean, do you have anybody you regularly watch everything of, or is it just kind
I watch a lot, probably too much.
of?
But
Anybody you
I'm
want to
trying to
shout out is
be.
basically any fellow YouTubers you want to shout out. Like,
I mean, I watch a lot of channels. I mean,
yeah.
I like watching your reviews. Your cranky comic
You're
reviews.
just
No, I
saying
mean,
that because you're on here,
it's
you mother son of a.
well, because what's good about some of the reviews are that if there's books I'm not reading, it may put me onto the book, or it'll just confirm, yeah, it's probably a good idea that I didn't pick that book up. So,
Yeah.
um, I'm going to say it wrong. It's Minutia Minute. He does
Okay.
a Batman review
Okay.
every Tuesday.
Well, that's awesome.
He
I don't know that. I don't know that one,
he
so I'll have
he
to
has
take
like
a
four or
look.
five Batman books, and he does a kind of a review on it. So it's like I can get my Batman fix just
Yeah.
by watching his reviews.
That's awesome.
So
Yeah, I don't. I need to. We all watch.
yeah,
Yeah, we all do watch.
I can
Y'all,
send
none
you.
of you watch enough. I need 1,000 more watch hours so I can. No, no. No, yeah. That's all. Yeah, I love watching YouTube videos on comics. I could do it all day long. I don't do enough of it. I feel honestly like I feel like people slip through the cracks, and I feel bad about it. Like like I
Yeah,
try.
no, I'm. One of the things I'm trying to do, if somebody comments on my video, on a video of mine, I'll try to make sure I'm going and watching one of their videos, or visiting their channel. But I also have like a favorite list set up, and I try to watch as much as I can. But um,
Yeah, I mean, I've got notification bells set up for everybody, like, but I do the algorithm also pushes people you watch to the top of the thing, so it's
right,
like
right.
you end up finding the same kind of stuff a lot of like same people all the time, which is like
Yeah, so the two tricks I've been using lately have been using the watch later feature,
oh yeah,
dropping them in a playlist so that I don't forget about them. And some videos I'll listen on more than normal speed.
yeah. I wish you could do that on a. It's not really easy to do on a web browser. Like I don't think. Is there a
Yeah,
way?
yeah, you got to click on the little settings and go through. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, those are kind of two of the tricks I've been using,
sometimes.
more recently to try to, and I really try to pop around and support some of the channels that started around the same time, or
Yeah,
the one thing I've noticed is there's niches within the niche, right? There's certain people that the same circle of channels, the We Are Legion, DJ Links,
sure.
there's a set of channels that like the channels, the guys that you all met at C2E2 is kind
Yeah,
of like a small little group that supports one another. And so those are the channels I'm trying to watch um, often. But I'm finding the problem is I'm finding new channels every day.
I think it's a good and bad of it. Same here. It's just kind of like yeah, you just go down this rabbit hole and you're like, oh,
Right.
there goes tonight. Like all of
Right. Like I jumped in on the banter show on Saturday night. And I said, I'm just going to stay for like a half hour because I want to go catch up on some of the videos I have queued up. And I was on there till I was on for 3 hours.
yeah, the banter. If you guys have not watched banter, give Chip Getler a follow or White Shadow. And like Saturday nights, it's just kind of it's a free for all, and almost none of it's about comics. But like you just get like lots of random talk, but it's fun. It's a lot of fun. Ever guess how many active comic collectors? Oh God, no, that's a oh boy. You mean in life or on YouTube or both, Brendan? Because in life, I don't know. There's a
Well, because I think I'm subbed up to about maybe 1,000 channels, and probably 900 of them are comic book channels. So,
wow,
and I obviously can't watch them all.
yeah.
Um, but like I said, I'm still finding new channels that are maybe have just started, or channels that I never came across before.
Yeah, and I do think it's great that like people find ways to make new spins on everything. Like you think that it's all been done, but nope, there's new variations out there, and
Yeah.
but
Well, this show, right? This show, for example, right? This is a different kind of spin on the mystery box.
wow, I blatantly stole this from Secret. I did this. I was part of a Secret Santa. I was like, I can steal this idea. Like so, and I expect people to steal this from me. Or if you guys ever want, and there's probably be weeks out here where I just don't have a guest or something, and if anyone else wants to pair off and do it, reach out to me. If you have buddies you want to pair off with and want to use my channel as a medium, reach out to me. It can kind of be like Chip's banter, but I don't think it always has to be me and a guest. It could be just like other people exchanging stuff. And, so what's up?
Right now, and I watched. I didn't catch your the live Slab Hub this past weekend, but I went back and watched the replay, and I didn't realize that you had that many slab books.
Yeah, I
Because
didn't either.
I can't really see them on the background on that wall.
No, yeah, my very detailed background that says where the AC was supposed to get installed. Yeah, I don't. I don't have them all out. Like I don't have them all out for display like certain people. I just kind of. I also because some of them I will sell and some I don't. So like it's a shifting collection, and that's probably about a third of the slabs I have. A lot of the other ones are just kind of not ones I'm interested in. They are flipping slabs or stuff like that. So I didn't really think I had that many until I started counting. It's kind of like, oh shit, like like I didn't think I had this many books until I'm like, oh crap, I gotta get rid of some of these. So, yeah, guys, if anyone wants to be on here and wants to do a slab exchange, we can do that too. So it just kind of, if you're not careful, the hobby can overwhelm you, and you can find yourself. It's sort of like people with cats. And if they like welcome into great cats, before you know it, you're gonna have 40 cats. And I'm like the comic collecting version of 40 cats, basically. So. Oh, I've got a nerd room. It's just not visible. Like it's just I don't want you sons of bitches robbing me. You don't know what I have. Like you don't know where it is. So, Tyler on the whiskey. I don't know if Tyler's drinking whiskey. I enjoy the whiskey, but it is a Monday night for me, so I have to behave a little bit. So.
Work tomorrow, so yeah.
Yeah, you got to work. What do you do for a living, sir? What's your day job?
I work in IT. I'm an IT. Project manager
Nice.
For a big hospital health system here.
Oh, nice.
So it keeps me.
Oh
me
yeah,
busy.
is that an all on all hands on deck and anytime there's an emergency?
No, I mean because I'm a project manager, I don't really have that.
You can delegate. You can be like, you son, you're on duty.
Yeah, you go do that. You do that. Yeah. Or
nice.
I can help you coordinate that, but I'm not. I won't be there. But I used to have that previous company that I worked for. I had that responsibility, so I was on call 24/7. Phone calls at 3 a.m. because the software upgrade didn't go well, things like that. So
yeah,
when I moved to this new position, I kind of didn't want to continue to do that because I did that for like 20 years. And
you wanted to have a kind of a normal semblance of a life.
Yeah, I wanted to have some free time, some personal time. So yeah. So
right.
to transition to something that was similar, but not all the responsibility that I
now you got time for all this YouTube nonsense.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Speaking of which, what do you have coming up on your channel, or what do you have coming up on the Well,
I've got a couple videos planned. I'm gonna Wednesday. I'm doing so. Metarog is approaching 1,500 subs.
Nice.
So he's asked for a video, entry to enter in and do some shout outs to some other channels. So I have that coming up on Wednesday. And then I don't know what I'm doing yet for Friday's video.
Okay.
Saturday I do Saturday morning. I do a breakfast with Brian show. If anybody wants to come on and hang out or do some shout outs, go over some comic books from the past week. And then March 26th, Saturday night, I'm going to do a live stream kind of kicking off the 2022 Comic Book Community Awards. So announcing
Awesome.
all of the changes and new categories. And
Now, what do people have to like bribe you with to get nominated? The crowds want to know. Like,
well, they don't have to. They don't have to bribe me. It's really getting people to nominate them. Really, that's. But I'll send you my PayPal.
all right, yeah,
It's
there
not
we
a
go.
problem.
Yeah, I mean, you're the final arbiter of like who actually like tabulating things, right?
Yeah, but I mean, last year was strictly whoever were the top 5 nomination getters were the finalists. So there was really no,
Gotcha.
it was just top 5. They
Yeah.
become the finalists. But this year, I do have a committee of about 15 people from the community that are going to look at the nominations. And the only thing we may do is if we want to try to make sure the finalists are well rounded. So
Yeah.
you have to be nominated.
Sure.
If you don't get a single nomination, you won't be able to end up on the ballot, right?
Yeah.
But we are going to look at maybe taking the top 3 and then maybe have the committee look at the nominations and pick 2 others as a possibility.
Okay.
It may not be 100%
Sure.
because we just want to make sure the finalists are well rounded.
Yeah. So let's say there's a mystery box swap show. What category? No, I'm kidding.
Well, there is a best ongoing series or unboxing category. So yeah, and we're adding a couple little. There was one category that people mentioned about their mustache or their hair or their showing their hand, not showing their face. So we have a category that's going to cover some of those things. So
all right, do you have like a best? Like people that hip hop about each other because the DJ Links is a rap show.
Yeah, well, I mean, I had to take the list of like 40 different categories and cut them way down. I mean, because you can really
yeah.
I mean,
I'm
on a streak right now, winning streak like Gary B. I think I've won like 5 or 6 things over the last like month. So.
Thanks, Chop. I'll take the best rambling review show. Yeah, that's awesome. So you enter raffles and giveaways and all, and yeah, nice. You know why people are letting you win? They're it's all rigged.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind, but
yeah, that's fine. Take the bribes, man. Take them. There's a reason I could never be a politician. I'd be like, yeah, give me all the goddamn money. Like, right. It's all rigged anyways. What the hell? Like, I don't. Like not to spoil the new Batman, but anyways, no. Well, listen, we're at about an hour and 20 minutes, or an hour and 10, so it's probably about a good time to wrap this one up. And
okay,
thank you so much. Why don't you go through what you got again? I'll do the same, and like we can do simultaneous. I don't think you have to embiggen ourselves for this, but
okay,
nice. We'll start. Yeah,
ASM.
Nice. That's right.
Spider-Man 1.
Hell yes. I'll go faster. I got it more. Trencher, this is awesome. I do dig these 80s, these early 90s covers. Some Spit and Fire, which is
so I hit the mark, right?
This is awesome. Appreciate it. These are great. But what about you? Hopefully you dug it. If not, you can let me know.
No, these are great.
I'm a big boy. So. Motor Mouth. Looking forward to reading this series. The vampires.
Spectacular. Yeah, and that's one of the things I've tried to do when I do mystery boxes or giveaways is like I'll try to send somebody like a complete series so that way you can read. You don't have to go hunt down the book. So that's why I included the vampire.
Oh, that's awesome! I got a big stack of reading to do. Thank you. Yeah. You're cutting into my Moon Knight time, but that's all right. I need variety.
When is that show with Rob? Is that next week or?
No, it's in I hope not. I think it's in April, like first week of April, I think. So I got some time.
So you got a little bit of time.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Yeah, and
I haven't really paid attention to the chat at all, so I apologize. So
I'm just kind of like, we're just they're being pretty nice for the most part. They're all trying to figure out how to get nominated.
Yeah, Chop.
Yeah.
Drag.
Nice. Well, Brian, thank you so much. I appreciate this. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Really
no, thanks
get to know
for
you
having me
and,
on. This has been fun. I appreciate the books. These are all,
night, everybody. And yeah, honestly, guys, if anyone wants to, I say guys, it's gender neutral, but whatever. Anyways, if anybody wants to be on the show, hit me up on Instagram. My link is down below. Give Brian a follow. He's following 1,000 people. Y'all can follow him. It's not that hard, man. Just hit the follow button. He does some great content. So give him a follow down below. You're never going to win an award if you don't follow him. And yeah, we will talk to y'all soon. And don't be a dick.